Hello, everybody, and welcome to the One Trick Hero podcast, where you'll never have to switch. My name is Paxfos. I'm going to be hosting this, as well as co-hosts, or I don't know, whatever you want to call them. We got Fish Whisperer over here. We have Voxia.
Greetings.
And we have Monty, who is camless at this moment in time.
Neat.
Neat.
He's got a nice helmet, so he doesn't injure himself. No microphone boom will hit him on the top like dear old Jeff.
That's true. This is
I should have a helmet. I'm an amateur.
Okay, now I can do the intro. This is a brand new podcast where we are going to be going into some of the top plays, as well as bottom plays, of the Overwatch League. Week by week, we're going to be pulling up clips and kind of going over what we feel like, in our opinion anyways, are some of the best plays. Not that they are objectively the best plays, but it's just ones that we find to be the most interesting. And we'll also be going over some news, and we'll kind of have an end discussion at where we kind of go over just how we feel about certain players, where they're going, things with competitive, kind of just anything and everything around Overwatch League and the competitive scene that's kind of, that feeds into it. We're going to start off today by going into some news before we kind of go into the top and bottom plays. So for news, first of all, the PTR patch hit, what was it, yesterday? Does anybody know when that hit?
Didn't it hit Tuesday?
Was it Tuesday? Oh, yeah, it was Tuesday, obviously.
Yeah, so I guess that was yesterday, depending on what perspective you're at.
Yeah, that's true. So
from a certain point of view.
Yeah, so the two big things is a nerf to Mercy and nerf to Junkrat. Whoever's got the patch notes, can you read out the specifics on that, please?
All right, the nerf to Mercy is Resurrect. The cast time increased from 0 seconds to 1.75 seconds. Mercy's movement speed is now reduced by 75% while casting, and it can now be interrupted when Mercy is knocked back, stunned, or hacked. Valkyrie also saw some changes. When activated, Resurrection no longer has a cast time, and while Valkyrie is active, casting Resurrect does not reduce Mercy's movement speed.
Is that it for Mercy?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right,
I could read the developer comment, but I don't think it's necessary.
No, I mean we all know what the developer comment is
Nerf.
Nerf.
We need to
Mercy.
change things to ensure the competitiveness of the game, and we will keep looking at these things and adjust more if needed.
Exactly. So obviously we know Mercy needed to be nerfed. I mean,
yes, for a long time.
Yeah,
in many ways.
For a while.
Can't nerf her enough.
She wasn't overpowered in her base kit. It really was just the double res on ult. That is like, and we saw that throughout the preseason. Like people that weren't necessarily comfortable with Mercy were having to play Mercy. Not necessarily having to. I mean, we saw a couple teams be successful without her, but I mean, the double res is just too powerful.
She's just too strong to not include. So
yeah,
it's kind of a must-have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even on our casual games, if we didn't have a Mercy and they had a Mercy, it didn't instantly mean they win, but as long as their team was halfway competent and they had a Mercy and we didn't, we were fucked because we just didn't have those sick reses.
Any opinions on this change and how that's going to affect, well, A, comp, but then B, of course, Overwatch League? Any, like, do you think... Okay, go ahead.
We don't know. We won't know how it affects Overwatch League until we get a confirmation from Blizzard when they'll actually change the patch. Like, I don't know if the first week or how many weeks it's going to be on the old one before, Obviously, it's going to be a while because they're not going to update the competitive client to be PTR when it's not even on live servers yet.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
But I hope they don't finish out the whole first season on it, but
I doubt it.
Is there like a break? I wonder.
I don't know.
Somewhere for a holiday or something.
The way I see it is her ult is still going to be strong for pushes because that octopus of healing and damage is just insane, and the fact she can fly at which direction she wants. She doesn't have the Guardian's Angel boost, which means she can be killed by a regular hit skin.
Yeah,
but
that's true. I can kill her now.
I mean, she'll still be strong because she'll be a heal bot instead of being this virtually unstoppable res machine. which is good.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
You're
how it
gonna have
should-
to use her a little more proactive than reactive now, so just
Yeah.
swap it up. I think that's gonna be the biggest difference. Is now she's not gonna be someone messed up and it's like a safety button. It's gonna be a proactive using her push.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna lead to her being a little more
Yeah.
team-oriented
giving
and
the
covering.
lowest skill cap hero some decision making importance is certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that's
It's
true.
a bit too easy to just run in there and do everything without
That's
knowing
true.
what the hell is going on.
I don't know if she's going to see a ton of use in Overwatch League, though, because without the boosted speed from Guardian Angel, she might be a lot easier to take down.
Oh
So
yeah, she's certainly a
might
lot
see
more
Well,
vulnerable.
one
The
or two
only
speed.
I thought about that, but the only thing is that she can still heal through barrier
Yeah.
pretty hard, and especially if barriers are still going to be a big thing. Like if we went back to like, I don't know,
Non-Orisa meta.
I don't know if as long as barriers are still around and Ana can't hit through barriers, she's still gonna have a place. I don't think she's gonna be out completely. So
Yeah.
But she won't be. I don't think she'll be necessary like she was.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, she's still obviously
not
going to be really
a
nice.
must pick. She's gonna be more of a you can pick.
Yeah.
For-
I think it's
for-
gonna be nicer.
yeah,
For
exactly.
countering if you get picked, or when your teammates gets picked. I
Right.
guess if Mercy gets picked, that doesn't help, but it's still nice in that instance.
Yeah. Okay, so Junkrat Nurse, real quick. I mean, I don't think you even need to go over the notes. Actually, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go over the notes. Might as well read the notes.
I know I'm booing the notes.
Oh, you got it, Vox.
I mean, they do, but they just don't have Junkrat listed on their official thing.
Oh,
only
was
have
that
Mercy,
one of
Moira,
those like
and
undocumented changes?
I suppose so,
Okay.
because they only have
Well,
Ana.
Stealth nerf.
Mercy,
Yeah,
Moira.
stealth nerf.
Huh.
I don't know. Well, okay, but anyway, so
Stealth
the
nerf.
the gist of it is that the mine now has a significant damage drop off. The double mine that he throws out. So
Based on the radius, it explodes at, right?
Based on the radius it explodes at. So normally when you threw the mine, if you were within radius, you were taking the damage. What was it? 120? I think it was 120 damage.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so. Wait,
But-
was it only 120?
I think it was
Pretty sure I've been
120.
one shot by this tracer and I have 150 health.
Yeah.
I know I've
think
been
it's a
one
trap
shot by it. I know
Either,
I've been one
regardless, now it has the same amount of damage at its center, but the farther you are away from it, you take exponentially less damage.
I mean, that is how
yeah.
explosives work. So,
It's just off. So
I
on
mean,
Overwatch.
you can still do the trap with a mine, so you can still throw your actual one-shot combo with it. The difference is you have to be a little more skilled and accurate to be able to land the thing. So it's okay. He probably could have used it. I think they should have just gave him a third line and let it home on the targets. But kind of got to take what they'll give you sometimes.
They should have also had the option to throw all mines at the same time.
Be able to throw
Just one shot the
multiple
tanks.
lines.
Get the tanks out of here. We don't need
Give
them.
them
all in all,
arcane
yeah. All in
Why
all-
not some wrist rockets? Like, get a little fair action on the Junkrat, too.
Jesus.
Yeah, like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's
Anything
gonna
to add,
make it a
Monty?
little.
I think it's a pretty good change. You see a whole lot of Junkrat spam. He gets tires really fast, so
Yeah.
this will kind of thin out
Oh,
the
wait,
herd of Junkrat
that-
players for low skill.
Oh, wait,
players,
is
I mean,
Is it for both
Yeah.
his? Is it just his grenades or for his mine too?
No,
It's
just for
just
mine.
his
Just
mine,
mine.
but-
It's just
Okay,
a
that's what I thought.
fallout.
Yeah.
he's gonna be
I mean-
doing less damage. He's gonna be building ult slur.
I am
and
all
less
for
damage.
virtually any change
Yeah.
that makes things
Yeah.
more skill reliant.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Yeah, you're not gonna take his spam out, but you're gonna take away his ability to just pop.
yeah,
So,
I mean, it's
well,
not going to
you
change
can
if
take
you
both
if you
skill
run down a
players
hallway
and
at him and he
one
tosses
shot.
it in your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's gonna
Exactly.
But
give
if
you a
he's
little
a-
combat it.
Yeah, if he's
Yeah.
jumping above a team and throwing it down on the payload or something, it makes it a little more skill intensive to get it in the middle
Yeah,
of them, do max
anything in the
damage.
air. It's gonna make it harder to pop Mercy and Farah and anything
Mhm.
that's floating over you. So it's gonna make Farah into well, she already is a good counter, but it's gonna make her
Yeah.
what she was before. Because I know I can pop Farahs every once in a while with mines thrown at them and punish them for coming in too close.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. So that's basically the gist of PTR notes. Next up, we have the comp changes that just went live. This really doesn't have a whole lot to do with Overwatch League, but I mean, in a way, it kind of does because a comp is basically how you climb, it's how you get recognized, and that's how you get into
Wait.
feeder leagues.
Do you think the 10 damage on biotic rifle increase isn't worth talking about? It's not that big of a change, right?
Dude, that was like long. That was a while ago, man.
What the hell? That's
Dude,
what
you know,
their PTR notes are on.
Okay, all right, all right.
That's the official
He
video.
doesn't play support. If anybody doesn't get it, he doesn't play support. That's just
No, I don't
okay.
at all.
Okay, so anyways, continuing.
Never.
The comp changes. It does affect Overwatch League by a little bit because it affects comp, and comp is how you feed into the divisions, how you get into contenders, and how you get your name out there is playing comp. Comp affects for everybody. The changes they have now is in the past, all the way up from bottom of bronze all the way up to top 500. Your performance was based on your it was performance based, excuse me, SR gains. So it was more how you went up and down the ladder was more based off of your personal performance than necessarily wins or loss. I mean, winning you gain, losing you lost, but the amount depended on your personal how much you were able to put in, and the identifying factors in that obviously they haven't said. That's MMR. It's supposed to be hidden. But we've seen people in the past kind of use that and game that to their advantage to just one trick their way up. One trick podcast.
Yes, plenty of.
But the way they're doing it now is that obviously once from bronze to plat, you will not be. It will be still based off of personal performance. But then once you get to diamond and above, it's all about win-loss. It's straight win-loss based on your gain. A lot of people were asking for that. It is going to increase queue times, just kind of the way it is when you have to constrain people, their skill ratings to be close enough to make those kind of even games where you really want to have the even win-loss. But a lot of people deem that to be more fair. Do we think that's a positive change, and is that enough to help fix the comp problem? Which I hate to say comp problem. It's more like what's hindering comp from achieving its maximum potential? Basically.
Well, there's a lot of problems in ring comp, so it's not going to fix everything, but
right. Okay.
it should help with some. I mean, the fact that there were people that got up to pretty high ranks despite having less than 50% win rate. I mean, some of them, at least that I'd read about, had like 40 to 43% win rate. Yeah. It's just that they were the only person playing at that specific level, that little SR of their hero. So, you know, it valued their performance too high, especially when if you can't win, I mean, you can't prove exactly, you know, who, I mean, if you lose, it's a whole team thing. It's not always like some instances you can point to one player, but for the most part, you know, it's still, even if one player is doing some stupid stuff and you can't compensate for it, the rest of the team, the other 5 players should ideally be able to way to compensate for that, right? So if you can't, they're bringing you down, but it's still a team thing overall. But some of these, and we know a lot of these one tricks too, they played pretty unfavorable heroes for it. It wasn't really a problem when people were one tricking a 76 or a Tracer up there and putting in a lot of work.
I have no idea what 2 heroes in particular you'd be talking about. I have no idea. It's not on the
perhaps,
logo. It's not on our logo or anything. No.
Yeah.
It's Lucio.
It's Mercy and Lucio, typically.
Okay.
Mercy and Junkrat.
What? Reinhardt one tricks. Are there even?
There's Mercy and Junkrat. These balance changes will eliminate one tricks from the game entirely.
Any other thoughts on that?
I think the biggest thing the change is going to do is, I don't know, anybody thinking that it's going to magically boost them straight up through the ranks because now they can play their normal hero up to plat and then they'll be able to adapt into a team. I think it's just going to punish people that are in higher ranks that are doing one trick stuff. And I think it's just, I don't think it's really going to do much else for it. And I think the whole people not thinking they're being ranked high enough issue isn't ever going to change because people can't realistically look at abilities when playing. So everybody's
I think it is
they're better than what they are.
Yeah.
I think it's good too though, because you could have instances, you know, where you swap to a hero that you don't normally play. So your contribution to the team isn't rated as heavily because you don't have that kind of like hidden SR with that hero. But you swap, like me swapping from a Tracer to a Diva. I don't play Diva as much, but perhaps that was the change that meant that the team could win. I think that's why it's good, because since it'd be really hard for the system to account for all those little factors. Just going win-loss is you can't really. There's not really a problem with that system, right? Like you should be rewarded for winning, you should be punished for losing, and you shouldn't have any weird constraints or bonuses for doing stuff that didn't necessarily contribute to the win or didn't or contributed too much to the loss or whatever.
Yeah, no one cares if you have 5 golds if you lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I care if I have 5 golds if I lose, but I am petty.
What are you gonna
Yeah,
say,
that no, like what Vox was saying, the old system was an incentive to, stay on that tracer when your team needs you to switch because, you're putting out damage on her. You might not be really effective for the team, but, if you think you're gonna lose, you're like just padding your stats trying to lose minimum.
Yeah, so you lose
SR
the
instead
minimum,
of like actually going for the win.
Yeah,
It would punish people that would fill
Oh, yeah.
play different roles throughout a match. So I think this is a positive change.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there needs to be more that they need to do. Vox and I talked about that earlier. We'll probably go into that later on in the podcast. If we got time.
Earlier. Yesterday? I guess it depends
whatever.
on.
Yeah. I
From
don't
a certain point of view,
Whatever.
it was earlier. It was like 2 a.m. But...
Okay. All right. So another news. Just we're gonna speed through this pretty quick. AKM and Wins. You know them as the brother duo.
The brothers toxic.
From
Or is it
from Rogue, Team Rogue. They recently just tweeted out that they are open. Their contracts with Rogue are done and they are available. So this kind of brings up the topic of mid-season signings, which has been confirmed that there will be mid-season signings available. I think it's between. They said it's between at the end of stage 1 or beginning of stage 2. I think. I don't remember. It's somewhere in that time frame where there will be mid-season signings.
Week 1 of stage 2 is Wednesday, February 21st.
I don't remember.
The last match of stage 1 is February 10th. Yeah, so that's a 10-day, 11-day break.
I'm sorry, it was at the end of stage 1, I believe. It was at the end of stage 1. But anyway.
So, I imagine you have to complete the signing before stage 2 begins.
Yeah,
right?
there's definitely a window that's pretty tight, but
like 11 days. It's not that bad, I guess.
But anyways, there's still a lot of players that didn't make it into the league that are pretty good. Like you got AKM, Mangachu, you got
Mangachu, Detroit Renegade, 5-hour energy,
Nethon Rogue. All potential sponsors in the future, actually. Could be sponsored by Nethon.
Let's go.
Yeah. See, actually, that's why I took the wrapper off of this, because I didn't want the brand of my specific drink to be revealed. And potentially dissuade any potential sponsors in the future from sponsoring us.
But anyways,
Gatorade, get in there. I don't care.
So on the topic of mid-season signings, do you think we're going to see like AKM Wins, Megachu, guys like that? Are we going to see them in mid-season signings, or do you think these guys are going to be hitting up contenders teams to try and get into their own kind of like team that they want to be a part of, like that they want to be crafted around with a contenders team? Do you think they're going to just I think leave? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the best plan for like guys like this are
think they're going to do whatever is offered to them. If someone offers a contract, they're going to play for whatever the hell team offers.
Yeah.
You think that's what they do?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Why would you not get paid to play competitive Overwatch?
Okay. They may.
You want to be.
We do know they're kind of prideful. So if they only get, well, I guess we don't know, but it seems that way. At least AKM, right? So. I would suspect that a lot of the teams are going to be, the Overwatch League teams are going to be focused on working on their synergy. So unless they have, I mean, that's why they didn't want to sign them in the first place, right? They're supposedly toxic. They already had the rosters kind of in place, like these other factors.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of things. There's a lot of unknowns. I know a lot of stuff with them not being on teams had to do with Rogue.
Yeah, and there was that weird window.
It was supposed to be in the league, and then I don't know what happened. Nobody really. I didn't get any inside info on that. I don't know. We just know what was tweeted out. I mean, basically.
There's of course a lot of things that could happen. There could be Overwatch League teams that just want to buy them and
I'm sure
them to hold talent. I mean, ideally you don't want that because we want the most competitive players being on the most competitive possible teams, but I'd say there's a pretty good chance they end up on contenders teams to try to get back in and like really prove. I mean, AKM was not only did he say it like on his personal media and other things, but you know, he really wanted to prove when he was at the not contenders, the World Cup, that he was, you know, way more valuable than people wanted to, and he did a pretty good job of it. He did a good job. He was putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, he played.
So
well.
I think unless they get a really competitive offer from an Overwatch League team for one reason or another, they'll end up on contenders for a while. Especially because, like I said earlier, I'm not sure how is anyone sure? Maybe I just didn't see it yet. The how it works for contenders teams to move their players to Overwatch League teams, if it's just a simple buyout or if they can't. I don't know.
There's information on the way farm teams are going to work, but I'm not entirely sure how that's going to equate to a direct maneuver into Overwatch League. As far as I know, Season 2, if teams want in, I think it's gonna be the same system. It's gonna be a buy-in, so the team has to do like the 20 million or whatever it's gonna be buy-in.
Interesting.
So I'm not entirely
sure. You think 20 million would buy you more than one season?
Well, no. The teams that bought in didn't. As far as I know, that isn't
or
for
stage.
One season.
Yeah. I was gonna say that seems a little weird.
But that's just for the team to get in, like within.
Could have could be potentially lucrative for a contenders team.
Yeah,
to buy their contract and then have it to sell to an Overwatch League team if they need a replacement DPS or just want to try something new.
And I know there's actually like some details out there on how the specifics on that. I haven't read into that, so I'm not going to comment too much on that further.
So we're like Congress then.
Yeah, but we don't read the bills.
We don't read anything.
But I know, in wins, AKM proved himself on the World Cup stage. He is a phenomenal player. Even like, what was it? Flower from Nixel was like.
Oh yeah.
He said
really
AKM's like he really gave him high compliments.
I mean, AKM's like the OG guy that that a lot of the Korean players in Apex said he was the scariest player they played against. When he was 76 and stuff.
And wins. I mean, he didn't really get to shine on Lucio. He is a good player. He knows how to play. And I mean, and Vox and I were at QuakeCon, and when we saw him at QuakeCon, playing Quake Champions.
Yeah, you didn't want to talk to him. We went to when there was a point where we were about to go in an elevator, and he was in the elevator.
Not on stream, Vox.
He got in ahead of us. That was important. And he was like, "Oh, that's wins." And I was like, "Well, then you want to talk to him?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I should." I'm like, "He's in the elevator, and we're going up. Just get in there and talk to him." So we get in the elevator. And we're riding up for a few seconds before Pax here finally gets the confidence.
We're done. Okay, moving on.
It was a good experience. You're welcome.
So who do you think's gonna pick up Kefri? I mean, which team? He guaranteed he would shit on a lot of people.
Yes,
it's definitely guaranteed.
So I mean, somebody should pick him up.
Guys, somebody clip this. Somebody clip this.
It's not been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure there's some leaks out there saying he'll be on the West Coast Wrestlers. Jeff wants a widow of that capacity on his specific. There's no way he's gonna let that go to any other team.
God. Okay, but
he wants to shit on everyone.
Wow, Kefri on the team. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Okay, all right.
Man.
Okay, so another news. Moving on past that. A couple people, most notably XQC, didn't really leak, but they said there's some upcoming changes to the spectator system. I'm not sure if he meant client side or what we're actually going to be seeing in game. But he seems pretty hyped about it, and a couple other pros seem pretty hyped about it. So that is something to look forward to. Additional changes, and Nate Nanzer, commissioner of Overwatch League, he said himself that more changes are going to be coming. They're constantly changing the game based off of player and spectator input.
Well, obviously, if they didn't, it would stagnate and die out.
Additionally, Seagull leaked that they're getting 240 hertz monitors, which is fantastic. They were 144, I think, because they had like a contract with HP or something like that.
HP.
Yeah, I know they had like a deal with HP for like their monitor.
Does HP make 144 hertz monitors?
They do, but they don't make 240. And so a lot of pros play 240 at home, they were kind of like, at least like I remember, who was it? I think it was Jake was complaining about that.
Really? Why?
Because it's Jake. He likes to complain.
Did he only have a 144?
Whatever he wants.
I mean, it's good for the league. It's bad for my temptation to spend money because
Jake's like
now
the guy that says what and nobody else wants to say. I mean, according to reports at the Players Summit, Jake just was constantly asking Nate questions, like pissing off Nate. And
that's good. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, it is good.
Because if nobody does that, nothing changes.
Yeah.
So
240 hertz monitors are gonna be in. And that makes me feel bad because I have 144 hertz.
Yeah,
I felt really good about that until
since we must copy the pros, I now have
I
a
now have
much
the
larger
Flacco.
temptation to
Yeah.
buy a 240
I
hertz.
just bought this 144 hertz. Do I have to upgrade again?
Yes, you do.
Re-
We're gonna
return
buy
it
Yes,
right now.
I literally
Yeah.
installed it today. Like,
Yeah, you'll be.
come on,
You'll.
guys.
I mean, unless you don't
Oh,
want to
man.
be down 96 hertz, then I don't even know if my math is correct there. I don't care. If you don't want to be on the same level as us, you know.
Are you down 96 hertz, Monty? Oh God, no wonder you're garbage. Okay.
Yes.
He's not garbage, by the way. He's good. Monty's a good guy. He's good at the game.
I mean,
Okay. All right. So next we're gonna go into our top and bottom plays, which we will affectionately call our plays of the week. And we're gonna be bringing you every week 5 of the best plays that we can find. And again, this isn't objectively the best plays because if you write to us or something like that and say, hey, that Taimu play was pretty cool, but that was nowhere near as cool as this. And it's like,
write to us.
Definitely, send us.
We got a PO box already? I don't think so.
No, we do have an email. We do have an email.
I think they'll type at us.
Yeah, they'll type at us, whatever. It's onetrickhero@gmail.com, by the way. But if you want to send us an email or Twitch chat or whatever with ideas of plays that you think would be good every week, let us know. We'll look at it. But these are just plays that we see and we think, this was a good play, and we kind of want to highlight it, show it, talk about it, kind of why it was a good play. The team play aspects, how they set it up, because honestly there's a lot of stuff that goes on in these pro games. It's more than just, oh wow, Winston got a triple kill, it's amazing, but
that's 3 whole kills.
Yeah, but what led up to that was a lot of preparation and a lot of the team working as a team, using strategies that you probably won't find in regular comp games. Just more than likely.
Yeah, you definitely won't.
And so we're going to have these top 5 plays, and we're also going to have a bottom play. So, because in a team of 6, you always have that one trick that ruins everything. And not that the bottom...
I want to introduce who this bottom play is brought to you by this week, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll wait until we get there. All right, so we're going to go into these top plays here. Let's see. First one we got lined up here is going to be, let me just pull this over here. It's going to be, let's see what the first one we have on the list here. It is going to be Game 4 of Seoul Dynasty versus the Houston Outlaws. These are obviously preseason, the preseason games that we're talking about here. Game 4 of Seoul Dynasty versus Houston Outlaws. This is coming from the Ryu Jae-hong view, and this is an excellent play by Ryu Jae-hong, but it's also an excellent team play as far as their positioning and the way they reacted to the offensive push by Houston Outlaws. So let me pop this up here. And
I made this possible. This one's sponsored by Fox.
Is this one sponsored by
I
you?
did this. This is my clip.
Sponsored by Vox.
I thought it's important.
All right, I'm
Put that in
playing
there.
it right now. Let's see.
I have a lot of equity.
Level up that turret to level
in
3,
imaginary
and
bucks.
let it just start pounding you on the point.
This might be the last time.
Maybe
for Houston
Bitcoins if
Outlaws
I
to
felt
take
like
this
being
All
not
right, Anna
lazy.
over here.
last
Throws in
match.
the
Body
grenade.
grenade. Running Jake's so loose. No, he's been taken out early. Miro just getting a little bit of
Whoa.
extra damage over the top, and Jake didn't know what hit him.
Pretend I see it.
Seoul Dynasty applying their defensive pressure in
I have
bursts, and Houston fell apart.
Oh, I forgot you guys.
One
did
more
that.
chance.
Anti-heal.
The
Yeah.
nano boost goes
supposed
onto
to be
Miro.
watching
He
this?
jumps up
Good
top,
anti-heal.
but it's a bionic grenade from
Followed
What
by,
happens if you screen share?
Okay, so basically that was the clip. I mean, everybody here had seen the clip, but it was the Ana throwing the anti-heal grenade into the pocket group of Houston Outlaws coming up the top side entrance on Nubani, point A,
And nanoing.
and
the Winston.
nanoing the Winston perfectly. Now, this I love this play because this is just positioning 101. They have, I'm going to actually bring up the clip back up here again, just so everybody can see kind of, if I can find the clip, so everyone can kind of just get a good look at what we're talking about here. I'm going to pause it right here. If you notice that the Ana is in this position where if she needs to duck in this room, she can take cover. If she needs to back out like all the way, she can do that. She's within range of both of her tanks for them to cover her if she's getting attacked for someone they rush up mid. Also, you notice D.Va's poking out there. She's poking out just enough so she can get information. And if
she's the one that definitely sees that they're about to set up to go for a push up there.
Exactly. And
that's
then,
why I really liked it, because they're very clearly setting up, like getting in their offensive positions to try to, make another push out there. And Soul Dynasty smells what they're cooking and just completely destroys.
And
their
then
kitchen.
you see the Winston was up on the left there. I just went past it a little bit, but he's over on the upper left corner. So basically, 2 tanks are covering both corners, both sides of the high ground. With the support in the middle ready to heal either one of them at any time. This is just ideal positioning. So the D.Va is able to call out that they're all coming up top and basically, hey, we need to go in there. This is where they decide to make the Winston swap. I'm not really sure why the D.Va wasn't the one to push in instead. They probably went with Winston because for their own reasons, but
wait, you mean why they boosted Nano? Or
I know why they.
Nano
I know
Miro?
it was probably because they called for the Nano, and obviously the Nano on Winston is better.
Yeah, the
especially in
DPS
this
is just insane.
But just the communication, how fast it had to go, because the clip had literally like a few seconds between when D.Va saw the enemy and when.
Oh yeah,
Winston
that's why I
jumped
love
in.
it. They decide to pull the trigger and they don't hesitate. And Ryujong, before his nade even lands, pretty much, or the very second it does, his nano dart has already hit Winston. It's such a quick reaction. I love it.
Let's go over the rest of this here. Okay, so she throws the grenade, boosts, and he just goes and cleans up and completely stops the push. Just like 100% stops that push.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, with the time left they had after that, I mean, the casters then say it, longer in the VOD, but it pretty much. It made sure that the Houston had no time to do any like concerted effort. They had to just go for a Hail Mary. They had to swap to what they thought they could maybe just get into last second and surprise Soul and get them off that point. And they did that, and it wasn't effective. So that was what really sealed that last map and that series as a whole for Soul.
No, it was an amazing play. Anybody else got any input on that play in particular?
Do you think they practice it? It kind of looked like,
Oh, I'm sure they've done it many times. Well, because actually,
made in there and jump
even if they hadn't practiced it, they actually did the same strategy earlier when they were originally on defense against Houston, but it wasn't as effective because they managed to stop a lot of the DPS that was coming out from the Winston. So I'm sure it's something they've practiced because they did it 2 times just in that matchup. But the second time,
the best Ana in the world, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Nano with an anti-heal grenade is common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ryu Jae-hong is definitely. I mean, he's famous for being the best Ana in the world, but I mean, he proves it. I mean, he really does. He's phenomenal every time. I mean, even when he was forced to switch to later on throughout the series when he was playing Zenyatta, he was just nailing every shot.
I mean, in the beginning of the series, he's playing 76.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryujong.
Yeah, no,
the dude is insane.
He's just an amazing player. Can't say enough good stuff about him.
Now they're the Korean fangirls. They love him. Good reason.
If we don't have anything else on that, excuse me, I'm getting over it.
All right, let's get to the DPS.
Let's get to the good stuff. That wasn't good. No, we're joking.
Our boy Jake.
No one wants to watch
if you can't tell already, Fish Whisper is a Houston Outlaws fan.
I mean, we all are.
We all are. We're all very big Houston fans, but him in particular. Look at that chair. It just screams out loud. Well, I guess my headset does too, but anyways.
I don't know if we can ever love Houston as much as Mother Nature does, though. I mean, she really kind of gave them quite the present.
Oh my god!
He's kind of sat there.
You can't say that on stream.
Is it still flooded?
Oh my god! Okay, all right. All right, let's see here. All right, so next up we got what game was this? This is game 5 of Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws, probably one of the most hyped matches of the preseason. Those two teams have a massive fan base, but behind both of them, they were both previous Envious and Optic, both which have very passionate fans. And and
that's the word for it.
They're pretty much the perfect rivalry right from the start. They're the main rivals of Overwatch League right now. Just from regional and the fact that they're both so really good and have some similar setups between the teams.
And honestly, if you can watch the VODs from those games of the Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws, it was just entertainment from start to finish. It was really, really good. But we picked out this one play from Game 5, Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws, and this is a Jake clip. Let me roll this over here. Let's see.
Brought to us by Fish.
Play every different hero, and this is great too because he just was a pain for Taimu. Right there, he farms up Taimu. The Transcendence comes in late trying to save Taimu, and this patience right here. He pops it while the Transcendence is still active, picks off the people on the periphery, and then we'll focus on the center of that Transcendence.
Yeah, so basically Jake gets Jake has his ultimate. He's flying up on over. They're on this is Legion Tower. I forget what the name of this particular map is on Legion Tower. I think this is Garden. Is that what it is? I can't remember the name of this one. It's the one with the pavilion in the middle.
Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I was following along to a completely different video. All right. Anyway.
But anyways, Jake just flying overhead here and through the Zenyatta ult. I mean, he timed this right. I mean, the Zenyatta ult's going off. It's not looking too hot. I mean, Cool Matt's low on health, and Muma's kind of off in the corner, off on the side there. But Jake just drops down and just has the most beautiful ult, getting a well, it was a double, and he actually did most of the damage to kill Taimu off initially before he dropped. Comes down, gets that triple or double triple, whatever you want to call it.
Double.
And they're able to keep the point from that. And that's one of those things where it's like, maybe on paper that wasn't the play. When you get a Zenyatta ult, especially when a Zenyatta ult and they're pushing out the choke, they're probably going to have an advantage, especially with Cool Matt about to be out of his mech. So, you know, logic would say probably back off or re-engage from a distance or whatnot. Jake, in all his glory, decides that it's time to just jump in there.
He will unload.
Just annihilate. He timed it perfectly. I mean, he died, but I mean, like, stop the push, like, then and there. They came out ahead on a Zenyatta push. I mean, not much else to say besides that. Any other input on that play?
Yeah, Jake just set himself up. He's gonna fire a couple rockets into Roadhog there. They're gonna get that finished off kill. Then he's gonna slowly slide himself over and bring himself up in position to where when he does that ultimate, that no one's gonna have anywhere to go. So even though the Zenyatta tries to bring the whole point and the group tries to move on and make their way to the point, he's able to pick them off as the Zen gets pushed off a little bit off to the side as they're going. So he's still able to get the kills through the Zen ult, making the Zen ult almost useless there because now they've used an ultimate. They don't have it to do anything else, and Jake is able to pick off the whole team. As everybody on Houston plays super conservatively except for Jake, which pretty much allows them to do stuff like that because everyone else their tanks are so cautious. And I know they always, when they go to make a game plan of how they're going to go in, they make sure they've got an escape route, and then they're there to support and bring everyone up. And I mean, when you've got Cool Matt running Diva, you pretty much know you can do whatever you want on a dive with that, and then you've got your tech support. You just it allows your DPS to do plays like that normally you'd be like, maybe this isn't the right engagement, but it's there, and you get it, and that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And Jake's going to continue to do that through the entire season.
He has progressively.
That's what you can do.
He's progressively gotten better, and he just keeps getting better. And I
think he'll continue to get better, and as they play more, of course, Houston, the Outlaws will continue to get better at playing around him and just setting him up to do what he wants to do, give him a lot of space.
Other DPS is as horrifying as Linkser. It's going to lead to all kinds of stuff where he can just kind of do whatever the hell he wants, because if there's anything he doesn't pick up, Linkser's going to pick it up too. So it just kind of puts him in a position to where they're going
I mean, personally, I think,
super aggressive.
or at least I hope, Houston will end up stronger than Dallas is.
Yeah, I mean,
Jake is
we
Jake
can't
is
put too much bias because we're
Yeah,
too much
Yeah.
bias. But I mean,
That's my hope.
it's inevitable to have
I think it
bias,
will.
and we're all pretty big Houston fans. I mean,
it's early to know exactly where everything's gonna lay out yet
Yeah.
because it's preseason. No one's doing their stuff. I mean, one of the teams didn't even show up, so like,
Yeah.
you can't
Well,
put too much.
I mean, they
do it.
couldn't. They were forced not to show up.
You can't put too much stock into it yet. However, Houston is definitely going to be one of the most fun ones to watch because how aggressive UPS is able to play.
exactly.
I mean, even when they've lost, it's never. I think we've yet to see them get blown out. Even when they lose,
No.
they're fighting tooth and nail the whole time, and the enemy
It's fun
team
to watch them play.
really has to pull out everything they have to overtake the Outlaws because they're just really they're really scrappy.
You got anything,
Sure.
Monty?
Nope.
He's got a helmet.
You guys
According to the
said it
picture.
all.
We guys
All right,
we guys has said it all. All right.
that makes sense. And
Um,
I think that can bring us into what is the rest of our series on the Outlaws with Linkser clip.
oh
Mhm.
yes,
Right?
okay, yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. Next up we have
Easy transition.
next up we have the exact same series, which was Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws. This is game 1. And this is the clip where if you watched any highlights, any highlight reels, YouTube videos, or whatever, you probably saw this one because it was just crazy good. This was game 1. A lot of people were expecting in game 1 for Dallas Fuel to just to stop. I mean, they have been an undefeated team for a very long time, and Houston was it was the core of NRG FE. With Jake, Mendukusai, and Linkster thrown in, so people weren't really sure how that was going to mesh, and there was some questions for sure, but they had an incredible first showing, and this is kind of one of the turning points when the series was going, that where people were like, wow, this is incredible. So let me pull this up over here.
Yeah, this play is going to be. This is just a flashy play. It's not necessarily, it's not necessarily the best use of it, but it's super cool, and it kind of just sends the point that I'm going to do whatever I want to you. It's more head games that he was playing with them, and it really starts to come into play later on when he makes a widow swap and then continues to make it happen.
Yes. All right. So let's play it. All right.
Much.
All right, so
This
here,
is one of those
Tracer
times where
going
you
up
start
the
to wonder
stairs.
whether Taimo needs to switch over to the McCree to help
Sees
deal
the
with
sniper.
Linkser because he
I
is
think he does.
just
Oh,
rampage right now.
Oh,
And the
the
stick.
disrespect pulse bomb, man, just coming in from behind. You did not see that along. That
Very
was
clean.
a style move from
Very
Linkser right
clean.
there.
That was
Clean, crisp, and fun to watch.
Oh yes. So the clip. Linkser comes up, notices that Taimo was on the Widow, trying to basically clear up that top row area. Taimo did see Linkser on the Tracer. He knew Tracer was going up there. Linkser decides to just sit a second, wait for Taimo to get his bearings, and then just double blink over, pulse bomb, go down, and then just clear up the enemy team from the backside. It was so smooth. It was like something out of a movie. I mean, it was incredible. When we were watching it, we were all watching this live, and we were just like, oh my god, Linkser cannot be stopped. This guy's
It was a good play, and he was doing a little bit of stuff like that. He pulled that style play, and he got a lot of decent picks on Taimo when they were doing that, which kind of
Barely.
like he put him
barely
off of his
survived. That was a
game
good
little
dive
bit
with the
because he
Tracer and the
wasn't
Winston
exactly-
to force him
wasn't
away.
hitting all
And,
the shots that
they've
he
done a good
wanted.
job, too, as we see
I think-
Coco fall.
I think a little bit of this had to do with it, and then Linkser just playing well.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was probably in the back of his head anytime he was lining up a shot, just like, oh, what if Tracer's behind me?
I
You
think
know,
it got him
it's
startled a little bit,
nervous.
and he just didn't quite play as well as he normally does, and this was a little bit of part of that.
I do find it interesting too how immediately after the pulse bomb goes off, I don't know if it was I mean, it's Dallas, so I would say it's not a panic thing. Maybe they weren't planning on using it anyways. But as soon as Widow's dead, they use Transcendence from the Zenyatta and try to kind of push it, and it saves Mercy from being killed by Linkser. But I don't know if they probably could have got a better use out of it if it weren't for that pick too.
Yeah. No, it all around. Amazing clip.
Good all-around play.
Good all-around play. I mean, there's not much else to say other than this is just, again, this is just Linkser playing out of his mind almost. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. This guy can just pick up heroes and just annihilate. He is one of the most stylish DPS there is. I mean, he's good.
Linkser picks up heroes and is effective with them much in the same way that Link seems to pick up all kinds of different weapons in The Legend of Zelda and be effective with all of them.
Oh my gosh, maybe
bows, boomerangs,
wow.
Bombs.
Wow.
Yeah, probably. You know.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I wasn't super impressed with this play. I mean, I'll give him style points. It looked good, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was like a super impactful.
No,
he had a double.
And mechanically, yeah.
All right. Let me kind of rewind some tape over here to show the audience real quick while we're talking over this.
So while he's rewinding that, I'll say what happens. So Linkser actually gets 2 picks right before this play, and then he does the double in, and then he's going to throw the flashbang or toss that flashbang character. Then he's going to hit the sticky bomb, and then he's going to teleport back out. So he actually gets 3 characters and gets quite a bit of value out of this whole series of play.
Yep, and I'm actually bringing it up while you're saying that because I mean, if you look over here. This is beforehand. He comes in and he cleans up Coco, comes back in. I think he gets the kill and kills Custa. Is able to rewind, goes back up the stairs. He's just pouring out damage and getting kills on the front, basically causing total mayhem. And right here is where he backs off once he sees Coco coming back in. That's when he dives down, kills the Widow right here, and then comes back up and then finishes off the Mercy. Or not, I'm sorry, he doesn't finish off the Mercy. He comes back up, and yeah, he does it when he comes back in this way. Yep, no, Cool Matt did, but I mean, you get the idea. I mean, it's just.
Oh yeah, I mean,
okay,
it's obviously not the most mechanically intensive little play or anything, but that specific piece is fun to highlight, and like we said earlier, it's not always the best things, but you know, it's very stylistic and it's very kind of. It's a very good example of how I feel the Houston's style and attitude is towards where they kind of, you know, they kind of want to do their own thing, and it's refreshing to see. I love that, but you know, I also can appreciate style very much.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Monty, in the sense that I mean, obviously that exact play wasn't the best, but I mean, like.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there could have been better too, but that one's fun.
It was stylish though. I mean,
it is also a spectator sport.
No one can deny that. It is.
It was cool.
Yeah. It was a cool play.
It was a cool play. All right, so we're gonna move on into our next play of the week, and that is the Nevix. I think it's triple kill. Yeah, I think it's triple kill.
Yeah,
this one is cooler.
This is a lot more team oriented too, though.
Yes, this is a little bit. I mean, obviously, in the clip here, you're gonna see Baby Bay and Nevix pop off, but this is also a testament to placement and to good team communication and just good positioning all around. I mean, this is what you get when you watch a professional Overwatch game. You're watching people that know where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be there. Good communication, and it's pretty evident here. All right, so let me.
And a dancing tracer.
And a dancing tracer.
Can't forget that style.
That is true. All right, let me pull this up over here. All right.
Our way onto the high ground. And they managed
the
to
Charleston
take it out.
I am so sorry. I forgot to tell everybody what game this was. This is game 4. Florida Mayhem versus San Francisco Shock. This was the first. Was this the first game? The first series.
4.
No, this is game 4.
This is gonna be game 4.
Never mind. This
is going to be the very first game of the day.
That was the first game.
Where they play each other with the Mayhem.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's going to be the very first one that they play.
No, it's not. The first one they play is Dorado.
No, not Matt. That was game, but this is the first series, the first matchup.
Oh, right.
The first matchup.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to have Mayhem first.
Yeah, okay. All right, so here we are, back to the clip. All right, so
Florida still has a lot of opportunities
here.
They're the ones with the Transcendence, and also you have to be super careful about going onto that bridge against a Primal Rage Winston.
I saw Logic's dancing back there behind the wall. This is not a time for dancing. It's a time for defending. Baby Bay finding a headshot. There's the Widowmaker ultimate, so they will be able to see where Florida Mayhem are for a while.
I think he picks them.
Transcendence comes
Mercy
in
right here?
from
No.
both teams.
Yeah, it was a Mercy. Yep.
And
Picks
you
the
can
Mercy.
still get those
Picks
headshots through the
picks
Transcendence. It
That's
doesn't
right.
stop the burst damage.
And right here,
Transcendence heals you quickly, but
Wow.
it doesn't make you
Nevix triple
invincible.
kill
Oh man,
with the Diva Bomb.
Nevix able to kill 3 and
And
to
they're able
demech
to secure the
Manitin
point.
with that self-destruct.
I love
That
that
is
the
good.
bomb just almost comes out of nowhere.
I mean, it kind of did. Well, and that's the point of how good the play was, period, because you have Baby Bay, and basically everybody was terrified of Baby Bay the whole time from the get-go, starting from the first game, because he was just basically proving himself as a really good Widowmaker. And he was getting lots of picks from the game. So a lot of the strats at this point were kind of tailored to, hey, get Baby Bay out of here. Let's get him out. But you can see here.
Too bad they don't have Linkser. And he could just teleport behind him and get him right out.
Or if they had Kefri, he could counter Widow.
That would be good.
That's true.
Perhaps our friend
The
Parker.
only true Widow counter.
Parker is quite the Widow counter, as we know.
But anyways, while we're talking, I'm gonna bring the clip back up over here. You can see they're kind of trying to play around, like, hey, be careful for Baby Bay. But when he repositions to the back line, there's not a whole lot they can do because they're trying to stall it out, but they still have to remain within line of sight of Baby Bay. And they probably actually would have made the push with just the double that he got. Because he did get the Mercy, but that Nevix bomb that was insurance. I mean, that was really, really good insurance, allowing
It's
them to
also set up by that Widow play, because now they're having to use the payload because they're like, we're getting picked because he got sight lines on us. So Nevix shoots the bomb up there. They pretty much have a choice. All right, we either stand behind the payload, get killed by that, or we can walk out and get killed by Baby Bay. So they really don't have much of a choice there, and that's what allows that bomb to just pick them off.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Which is why it's such a good team work-oriented play.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's back to positioning. These guys were where they were supposed to be when they were supposed to be there. They were making the calls, getting the picks, and then it seems like instinct. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of comms going on in the background, but it seems like instinct as soon as the Baby Bay got the picks that Nevix was just like, all right, I'm launching this up, and this is going to give us the clear to get the full push. And it did. Yeah. It just worked out perfectly.
It would be interesting if we had segments where we could hear the voice chat from the players in the heat of the moment. You know, because across other esports, there's sometimes like where they do this sort of thing, and you can't have too much because you might reveal some strategy. But just little moments like that where you see if it was just an instinct, if as soon as Baby Bay got that last pick, Nevix didn't even say anything, just threw it out there. Because I mean, it's almost more likely that it's like that way. I mean, when you play with people, even us as friends, we kind of know when somebody else is gonna. We predict when somebody's gonna take advantage of a certain thing, and it just kind of work off each other.
Right.
Blizzard, get at us on that.
Oh yes, teamwork like that is just it's always fun.
Yeah.
Give us a call, Jeff. We'll get you set.
Yeah, Jeff. If you want to come on this podcast and throw us a bone, we'll
let us know why we cannot hear the players talking. We'll go ahead and have you on.
Maybe we can get some quicker, quick play queues. Not that it's all that important, but we're sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for an unranked game. Why?
Monty, any input on that play?
This is a really nice job by Baby Bay, getting the pick on Widow through the Zen Trance.
It's these through Zen Trance plays,
right?
like it's crazy,
threading the needle.
I
don't know, it's crazy.
He's got to land a headshot. It's the only way he can kill her, and he does it, and then takes out Tracer just after she blinks.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Really impressive.
All right. So our last top play that we have here is going to be
one trick play.
One trick play. It's a Dia from Shanghai Dragons. Shanghai, I wouldn't say it was a poor performance, but
a disappointing showing for sure.
It wasn't. I mean, nobody really knew what to expect because, again, nobody really has followed the Chinese scene that closely. I mean, not saying nobody, but like, it's not as popular as, North America, Europe, or I mean, especially not nearly as popular as Korea. So then a lot of and a lot of people, the only real team that a lot of people were able to identify with and understood the players a lot was Miraculous Youngsters, and people thought Miraculous Youngsters was going to make up the roster of Shanghai Dragons, and that didn't happen. It's an entirely different roster. And maybe in China or among the China scene, they're known, but from the stuff I've heard, even that, not really. So it was kind of a gamble. We had no idea if these guys were going to roll the yard or if they were just going to end up in the dumpster. But they did have some good plays and they did some good stuff. It seemed like they were at a disadvantage. Again, this is preseason. We have to take this all with a grain of salt. However, there was one player that stood out, and it was Dia. I mean, it wasn't even just this clip. It was several times where this guy on Widow was just making amazing picks, and he was doing a really, really good job at it. It was impressive, and it was consistently impressive. Even when the team wasn't necessarily doing so hot, he was making those plays, and I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to be seeing in the future.
I would have to agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, the clip's more important at this point.
Okay.
Talk about it after.
All right. Well, here, let me pull up the. Oops. I probably should have my stuff ready before I say I'm going to pull up the clip. Okay, let's pull up this clip here. This
Probably.
is
Amateur.
Yeah, this is Game 2 of Seoul Dynasty versus Shanghai Dragons. This was the second matchup for Shanghai Dragons. Our first one was versus Boston, I think. Maybe I have that backwards. Anyway, it's Game 2. Okay, Game 2, Seoul Dynasty versus Shanghai Dragons. Let me transition here. All right.
Got some great utility.
Okay,
Yeah, but you don't have the Valkyrie for Widowmaker picks, right? That's some nice shoot 3 picks.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
One trick.
Play of the game in my mind right there.
That's a really short clip.
A reputation.
It was a replay, so that is what it is. But yeah, a triple kill straight up from the top there, and not that that's terribly uncommon for a good Widowmaker to get a lot of kills from that top perch, especially if the enemy team is not ready for it. But the thing of that is that the push inevitably failed, and you can kind of see their engagement's a little bit sloppy for the rest of the team. And that's something that and there's a lot of things you can attribute that to.
Well, that goes into what I was gonna say earlier.
Right.
This is a good example of how team oriented this game is.
Yeah,
even if
exactly.
you have the Dia there, getting all these super clean picks in quick succession for your assault. If your teamwork isn't rock solid, you could very well just mess up the execution and have it not work out for you. Which I was gonna say is with the Shanghai Dragons being a newer roster as far as we know, with them being kind of unknown and them not being Miraculous Youngsters, they definitely have a lot of mechanical ability, obviously. But I think they should definitely get better when they have more time to mesh as a team, because it seems like before preseason they just weren't really a team for very long, and this clip kind of shows that when you were saying how the teamwork isn't really all there when they do go for the assault onto the point.
Yep. Anybody else got anything on that?
No.
Nope.
I would like to point out that once again these picks are through a Transcendence.
Oh my god, I just realized that. Yeah.
So
wow.
if it's not entirely evident, if anybody would like to be featured on here, just play Widowmaker.
Get some
picks through Transcendence. It's
and
very impressive to
on
us.
The podcast.
Love it.
Good to go.
It's the best.
Or
Transcendence
Very
is actually
exciting.
the worst ult in game now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
by our
you can't heal the dead.
Why even use it? You can't DPS as Zenyatta when you have it out. It's a DPS loss, and for me that's tragic. Don't want to do that.
Again, I'd like to remind any viewers that the amount of support play Voxia has is 0.
Shameful.
He played Zen once.
Shameful.
He played
Yeah.
okay. Man,
I will
maybe,
play
okay.
Zenyatta every
He
once
plays
in a
he plays Zen and Mystery Heroes. Okay.
while. I used to play Lucio in beta a lot, but no.
Yeah. No, it's
I like the sport.
yeah,
I got the
okay.
killer instinct. I have to kill like a cat, a house cat. You know, they must kill.
My God.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're just like a house cat. All right.
Exactly.
All right. Now, so we went through the top 5. All right. These are the 5 guys who were working hard, doing the thing on the team. We gotta give the one trick, the guy who's messing it up for everybody, a hard time here. Not that the person we have on
Today's
filming is
offensive Torbjorn.
yeah. Not that's what we're gonna be showing, but basically we're also gonna be showing clips that a clip every podcast of a mess up. It happens, bros mess up sometimes, and this one's a pretty good one. This is game 1 of Florida Mayhem versus San Francisco Shock. Going back to that initial matchup.
Can I say the line?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Gotta say the line. This bad play of the week was brought to you by Tavik. In fact,
I wish I need to get a graphic that I bring up every time where it shows like a broken like turret or something and shows the name underneath it. Okay. Okay.
a sad Torbjorn.
Now, not being what's the word? Nothing against Tavik, because he is a very good player. I mean,
of course, anyone in
has-
the league is obviously very accomplished.
well, but I mean, even Tavik in general. I mean, he was they were formerly Misfits, and even on that
Mhm.
roster, he was phenomenal. I mean, he really he's basically like the ultimate cleaner up for the team. The way the team works is that he cleans up.
Pooper scooper.
He's the pooper scooper. He cleans up everything, and
99% of the time.
yes, and we found the 1% here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull
And
up.
we're gonna play it.
I'm gonna
Even
go
in in this game, he was doing really well on Pharah all through point 1 until he switched to Genji.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have stuck with the other characters he was playing. I think
Pharah was
Okay.
working out. Should just stayed on
Genji's
that.
not bad. It's just he was getting a lot of value with the other one. Well,
Yeah.
I guess he was getting decent Genji value. His Dragon Blades were questionable.
Yeah.
I mean, before he missed this Dragon Blade, he does get a pretty clean double
Let
to
me,
get the ult.
Yeah. All right. Let me show the clip here. All right. Let's see.
Too. That was actually a pretty big mistake by the
kinda
Florida
see that.
Mayhem. So what happened was they were trying to
San
catch
Fran's
Nomi
underneath
as he
us,
engaged, but
he's
he had
gonna
the
wanna use
primal
his ult
rage up,
here to try and clear.
we did see Zumba use that Transcendence just a little bit early there, and that caused a bit of a delay right now. They're not going to have that ultimate, and Tavik's Dragon Blades have not been doing work.
That's the second one we've seen now that have
Didn't
gotten
get anything, but then it
absolutely nothing
continues.
for his
Hold on.
team.
He's
San
like, I'm gonna get
Francisco
that Widow.
fighting,
He's gonna
but
get
coming
Baby
out
Bay. You know,
ahead
gotta get the Baby
in a
Bay.
war of attrition here between
Not only
both
did he
teams.
miss
And
that-
there's the Transcendence again for Sleepy just in time. Logic still looking for those picks, but again, Widowmaker can get the headshots, but she can't.
Not only did he miss that, but he
Yeah.
he died
You
to
know that
Winston. Died to
you
Winston.
could just blame poor teamwork. I mean, if you look right as he was about to slash Nevix out of the air, Logix hits the shot on. I mean, maybe it was just a selfish play from Logix there, you know, stealing kills from his teammates. Not very fun
No,
for them.
I mean this is just kind of like okay, going back through it. Honestly, this is just, and I mean, and I kind of understand what happened here because this happens to me sometimes. Well, I'm not really I'm a flex support player, so when I play DPS, I get confused very easily. But
True.
but it feels like one of those, at least from the clip, the way I perceive it when I'm watching this, it just seems like he felt like this was the opportunity to defend and to get the kills, and there was just too much space. The enemy had hightailed it out of there. By the time you could see it kind of when he climbs back up to the top that he's kind of thinking, okay, maybe this is my time to whip the blade out and get the Mercy that's in the air, maybe get D.Va out of mech, and it kind of just doesn't formulate because he's almost there by himself. His team is kind of pushing everybody out, and he ulted, and there's just nothing.
It's pretty much a good representation of probably 95% of the Genji ults I've ever made in the game. I'm like, this is it. They're all here. I see somebody on my screen. There must be more. And then the one person dies to a Widow or any other thing, and then I look frantically and be like, oh, there's nobody else here. Why did I hit Q? There's no one close enough to hit with my sword.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a pretty meh play. I mean, really nothing. Nothing
Highlighted also by the then dive into Winston to get the. I think he tunneled on getting that Widow kill there, which happens to pretty much everybody. So
Just seemed like he wanted to salvage it and try to pull something off.
yeah,
Yeah.
At least get something for it, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Just barely. Logix just manages to, or not Logix, but just barely manages to get out of there. Baby Bay does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and to his defense, it's when he pulled out his blade here, he looks like he was about to hit Diva when she was popping out of Meg, but then didn't quite get it. Had to take this weird turnaround.
Or Logix gets her.
Yes.
All these X names. Too confusing.
Yeah, still Dragon Blade to get a baby Diva.
And you know, ultimately failed. And then just kind of went in there after Baby Bay. You could kind of see the I don't want to say bloodlust, but you can kind of see the Baby Bay has one health. But Baby Bay has one health.
Yes, it's classic tunnel vision.
Yep. And just and you know, and kudos to San Francisco for the really good, you know, for to be able to, you know, Genji Blade, all this chaos going on. Baby Bay's about to go down, jumping back in and kind of going full steam ahead and getting back, you know, pushing back on that. It was good for Florida. Again, no offense to Vic, he's a great player. Just we happened to catch him with his tunnel vision down,
with his sword still in his sheath, as it were. Effectively, anyway.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Well, so that does it for our plays of the week. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for plays throughout the week, we're gonna be doing. This is a weekly podcast, and we're gonna be going through. We're gonna be covering the week prior. So, for instance, this week's matches we'll be covering Sunday of next week. And so, if you see any during these games, if you see any highlights, and you think, man, this is really cool, I want, you know, I'd like them to talk about this or look at it, shoot us an email at onetrickheropodcast@gmail.com, or send it.
Yell at us on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, YouTube.
We'll plug the social media at the end too.
Yeah, but
at some point,
be sure to let us know, and we'll obviously take that into consideration, and we'll probably look at it because honestly, there's so many good plays. It's, you know, there's plenty.
Oh yeah, I mean, if the community can do our work for us,
why not? Yeah, exactly.
Why would we?
Easier, right? Yeah,
exactly. Put any effort into it.
I'm all for that. Please.
So we're going to be kind of going up into our next section here, which is kind of the cooldown phase, where we're just going to kind of go talk about some stuff here. Hero Select is what we're calling it, and here we're just going to kind of go over some stuff that around the league and kind of up and coming heroes. And kind of just a little bit of ramblings to kind of seal our thoughts for the week before we head out. But
we could probably always fill the segment with just praise for Jake between the four of us.
Well,
Hero Select. All right, let's talk about Jake again.
Which is kind of why we're hoping to just talk about players in Hero Select that are not super everybody knows exactly who they are and what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, this week it's probably not gonna be the best example because Linkster is definitely one of our hero selects, but this week because he had a really good, pretty much standout game the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, if you kind of followed him, you kind of come to expect it from him. But he's getting to the point now where now it's expected of him. But before he was a little bit unknown and no one expected him to do some of the stuff that he did.
Linkster, right? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Linkster and Jake, no longer impressed when you get triple kills or do crazy things. You do it too much.
Yeah, you gotta
see, this is why they need player agents. If they showcase their talent too much, it's not going to be appreciated anymore because it's too expected. It's like, wow, Jake, you got a triple but not a quadra? Come on. We expect the quadra every time, dude. What are you doing?
But no, you know, the preseason is what it is. It's a show match for lack of better words. You know, it was the warm up. It was the exhibition match. It was the warm up routine. It was everybody kind of getting comfortable. You know, you know.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. Prime
A little synergy built up, teamwork.
Yeah, but we saw a lot of players that stood out that we didn't necessarily see before. Like Baby Bay is one of those ones that just straight away everybody was like, "Wow, look at this! Like this is amazing." I mean, he shocked a lot of people.
All the way from the Jersey Shore. To the Overwatch.
Yeah.
League.
Oh my god.
Is he actually from him?
I have no idea. Linkser is another one again where I mean everybody knew he was good, especially at the end of Contenders. He was playing really well there too, and people like Linkser versus Tavik fights were really fun to watch during Contenders. But even more so, his game has amped up in preseason, and it's shown.
I googled Baby Bay to try to see if a Team Liquid link would come up or something from their wiki, and instead of the player being the first result, it is a bedside sleeper thing for babies. The Baby Bay, a bay where you keep your baby.
Oh man, I gotta get one of those.
Co-sleepers keep babies happy and close, and parents rested. Yeah, Monty, you definitely need this.
Okay, my God.
Anyway.
But not only players, but we also saw teams. I would love to. I know it's probably been beat to death in the competitive Overwatch subreddit and everywhere else. But
what hasn't been beat to death there?
But
positivity. That's certainly
Good ideas.
not. Yeah, good ideas.
Solid strategy.
God. We can't.
Good discussion.
We can't be negative
Can't
on the
anger Reddit
competitive
before we
Overwatch
even
subreddit.
make our debut there.
Oh my
The
gosh.
competitive Overwatch subreddit knows what they are.
Yeah.
But anyways, but Boston, when Boston's roster was announced, I mean, I can't tell you how many podcasts, how many people, how many articles were just like, wow, garbage, just pure garbage. Just like, I don't know who these players are, and they could have done way better. It's pretty bad. And they have slowly but surely, and a lot of pros have reported that through scrims, they are performing exceptionally well. And, even during the preseason, they played pretty well. I mean, it wasn't what we, it wasn't like we're watching Soul Dynasty or something like that, but they were improving. You could see the improvements as they were progressing. I mean, they took a map off of Nixel, New York Excelsior.
Yeah.
I mean, and Striker. A lot of the pros have been talking about how Striker is someone to fear coming up.
What a name too.
Yeah, and
It sounds like it sounds like. Man, why I'm brain farting the name of the like in the promos for Overwatch League. They're
the Crusher 99.
Yeah, Crusher 99. It sounds like one of those names where Striker, like he sounds like he's actually a hero in the game almost,
Yeah, but
it's interesting.
But it's neat seeing them learn, and they're going to continue to improve because I mean, Huck has stated.
Well, I guess they don't have to, but ideally
they don't have to. But I mean, Huck has stated that's why he picked the people that he did was because of their ability to improve, and he wanted a very coachable team. I mean, and this is tradition. This is just traditional Kraft move. I mean, Robert Kraft, the guy who owns.
Oh yeah, I mean
Robert
the Patriots
Kraft,
don't have any star players on their
their
team, do they? They don't rely on one star player ever. They always are searching for up and coming talent to win their championship.
My point is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was nearly
not
unrecognizable.
Tom Brady was not, and when he first came onto the team, he was not a top pick. I mean, he was drafted
because he's from Michigan, and Michigan sucks. OH.
But anyways, it's just their style is to have people that are coachable. It kind of goes along the same lines as the San Antonio Spurs, where they have this mentality of it's teamwork. We want people that are coachable, people that we can, people that can work together as a team more so than and can learn and grow, basically. And Boston's doing that, and it feels like they haven't really even begun. It's only the beginning. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing in the future. Of this league, and they have stars that are coming out. Like I said, Striker's done good. Gamsu was performing very well. I'm excited to see more of that for sure. Any other rising stars, teams, kind of stuff that's standing out to you as far as the preseason and just kind of stuff going into the league? Anybody sees?
I mean, it's not a rising star, but just goes into it. It's certainly exciting to see these teams get to play more and continue to work on their teamwork because the level of play should rise exactly.
True. I definitely like that they have a smaller amount of teams too, because it allows for way better talent on every team. So because, I mean, just watching the games, most of them were really close. Like. There was a lot of back and forth. There weren't really a ton of just straight blowouts, which was stuff that you saw before the Overwatch League. You would have teams that were just way outskilled, or you have some team that had a player that was good enough to pretty much steamroll the other team, and you're not really getting that as much. Because like everybody's like, all right, well, you have to be at least this good to be on the team, so you're not having gaps in the games, and you're not having one DPS just crush the whole. So it's a lot. I think it's a lot more enjoyable to watch these games because you got the better talent. It's kind of like watching Worlds because everybody's good, so you're going to get to watch good games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's no, I mean, even Shanghai and Boston being kind of at least for their showings of the preseason, you know, bottom of the pack. It's the distance between the bottom and the top isn't as far as you would think just looking at the results of things.
Yeah.
There's always the 99% curse to rely on. I swear it's impossible to cap a point to 100%. You get to 99, even with the pros. Every time, doesn't matter the team, almost every time. 99%, the other team will mount a last-minute offensive, get on there, and start taking a point.
But
I think it's coded into the game at this point.
It's not only it's the teams, but it's also the production and the amount of effort Blizzard has put into making this as professional of a league as possible. And there's still ways to go. There's still things they need to learn, still things they need to do, improvements that need to be made. But they have the right foot forward, and it's really showing. These games are fun to watch. I mean, all of us were in Discord for pretty much the entirety of the preseason, just watching the games and talking. I mean, we weren't even playing games ourselves. I mean, we were just that engaged, and that's just
too hard. Too hard to watch Overwatch be played at a high level and play something else. There's a lot
of stuff going on.
Not too hard, but it's
exactly. Yeah,
it's so entertaining. You can't divide or at least I can't divide my attention very well between it and other things.
So I'm excited. I'm excited. This season is going to be fun. I'm excited. We're going to be bringing this podcast and talking over this stuff every week, just so we can kind of and this is also for us. This is for us to just talk about what we like about this and how the league is growing and how it's helping us grow as well as players. And kind of going into that to kind of close out the conversation here on Hero Select is comp changes. We talked about earlier with the way comp is changing with the SR being by wins for Diamond and above, as well as the meta changes. What else can be done within competitive that Blizzard can do you think that could make it a better experience? Because
pay to win.
Pay to win. That is the trend.
Loot boxes.
I mean,
loot box. Do you want to play competitive today? Better buy your loot boxes. You might get a
competitive 5 SR rating.
Oh yeah. And as we were talking about, Pax, I think something that Blizzard should definitely look into doing is making some sort of a verified account, for the ability to play competitive. Tie it to something that makes it real in outside of the game life, like a phone number, or it doesn't have to be as extreme as Korea where they tie league accounts into their social security and stuff, but because those systems don't work the same as they do here in the States. But make there be something extra to give players a bit feel like they have to pay more attention to the agency they have in their account, that it's not just something they can throw away. They can just $40 they have a whole new one. Just make something more concrete, so that if they get punished, all the one tricks who refuse to switch, or not the one trick heroes, but the one trick villains of the Overwatch world, make it mean something more if they get punished on their account, other than just I have to spend $40 more.
Right, exactly. Any other thoughts, Monty or Fish Whisper?
We have plenty of thoughts.
Prevents people from smurfing, and that kind of ruins a lot of game experiences. So, so not just that punishments are more effective, but that it prevents people from ruining a lot of game experiences for others.
I mean, the trolls and those kind of people are going to do that anyway. Will still be out there, but there's plenty of people who, when they have something to kind of fight the temptation, fight their, when they think, but it's tied to my phone, or I don't want to, other than just the money, there's just going to be a lot less, at least a little bit, if not more, less people doing those things, because they have a little more stake in what they're doing with their account.
Speaking of punishments, you know, they banned XQC or suspended him for a week because he threw a game off stream.
Yeah.
You know, if they're gonna kind of treat Overwatch League and professional streamers differently than everybody else, like no one else is getting 1 week suspensions for throwing a game.
Yeah. They should be a little more consistent, a lot more consistent, actually.
They should either be consistent, or if they're gonna treat them differently, they should offer them more protection. Because you see people stream sniping him all the time and throwing matches for him.
Yeah,
like those people don't get punished at all. So it's like,
oh yeah,
I'm okay hold them to a higher standard, but
yeah, something needs to change in the effect of.
I mean, like you said, they should be held to a higher standard because they're, you know, one of the first things that, I mean, they're representatives of the game to the public, you know, through their association with the teams, and not just the game, but the representative of their organizations, which is why the organizations will punish them in their own way and stuff. But at the same time, you know, they really should try to find a better and more consistent way to punish those people that are making these pro players and streamers' lives hell by throwing games, like you said. I mean, you can see them on the stream, these people throwing, and they still continue to operate for quite a while without having any punishment, if at all.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
A couple things that Vox and I talked about as well is possibly changing.
Do we want to blow all our load in the first episode?
No,
we gotta have other things.
No, that's true. And we're pretty over on time right now. So yeah,
but basically, we have a lot of ideas.
There's a lot of ideas that we can go over at some point. Just kind of ideas that we kind of tossed for ways to kind of improve competitive. But we're gonna leave that to another day. We're over on time already. Yeah,
I think it happens every time you do anything for the first time.
Anytime you do anything for the first time, you're doing over, and we're probably gonna go over again because honestly, there's just
maybe not everything. I could think of some things that are generally quicker the first time you do them than longer.
But you know, yeah, no, this is there's a lot of content to cover every week, so we're gonna be doing this every week. We're gonna be going over all the games. Yeah, if anybody has any feedback over you know what we're doing, how you like the presentation, the graphics and all that, or the plays of the week, what any suggestions for that, or you know, basically anything at all, let us know. Positive or negative.
If it bothers you that the cover for my futon is almost the same color as my wall,
that bothers me.
Let me know.
Yeah, it needs to change.
Well, now I don't want to change it. The fact that it bothers you is amazing to me.
It's the best. Keep it. You know what? Get another futon just like that.
Put it right
stack them on top.
Stack it on top.
Yeah.
So anyways, anything, any information, I'll just send it to us and we'll go over it. Like I said, we're going to be doing this every week on Sundays, Sunday evenings. We have yet to come up with a concrete time, but it will be Sunday evenings, and hopefully
Sunday.
Hopefully the YouTube VODs and the SoundCloud audio only uploads will be up on Monday. Hopefully, we're gonna kind of work on that and see how we go. But it will be available. If you need to, if you want to get in contact with us, or you just want to know about the latest what's going on with the podcast, or when we're going live, you can follow us on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitter. Follow us on
Facebook. Are our Twitters?
Yes. Okay. So our Twitter is the OT Hero Podcast. That's the name we had available.
At OT Hero Podcast.
At OT Hero Podcast. On Facebook, it's at One Trick Hero. Sorry. On SoundCloud, it's One Trick Hero Podcast. Just look for that, and we'll be right there. In Twitch, it's One Trick Hero Podcast as well. And YouTube, we don't have enough subscribers to have a custom link, so there is no custom link. But if you go to any one of those other websites that I mentioned and you click the YouTube link, it will send you to our YouTube page where you can subscribe, and you will be getting the VODs.
You can support us on those other platforms to give us enough subscribers on our YouTube to then have a custom link for it.
Yes, which
novel
would be
idea,
great.
right?
A novel idea. But anyways, you can go there and we'll have the VODs uploaded as well. I'm going to try and segment the sections as well, so if you just want to see that, that should be available. Again, assuming I know how to video edit it. Anyways, that's where you can follow us.
Well, there's the personal Twitters.
And then
I don't mind saying mine. Mine's I'm at Vox Tweets, VAUX tweets. And I haven't used my Twitter much, but now I have a reason to. So if you're feeling generous, give me a follow. I will. create some stuff to put on there.
I am at Paxfos. You can on Twitter, and I don't have a Facebook for that because that's ridiculous.
I promise I will do more than just retweet giveaways and contests.
Fish Whisper. What's your Twitter handle?
I have no idea. I will not get back to you if you hit me up on that because I don't know how it works. So
he does have a Twitter, but I don't.
It's there. Links off of our podcast if you really want to talk to me.
It is.
I guess that works.
And Monty's. Go ahead.
I am at budget_Monty.
Budget Monty.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay. We didn't have to pay much for him at all.
And I don't do anything on Twitter, so hit me up.
Yeah.
I might see it, or I might not.
Yes.
He had to go with Budget Monty because we couldn't get the real Monte Monty, Casper Monty.
I wonder why.
So we had to settle for a cheap Monty. He doesn't even spell it right. It's Monty. So it is again, like I said, Budget Monty. But we don't have a lot of money for this.
Have a camera.
Yeah.
It's not even a real
afford
vowel.
A camera. Unbelievable.
I mean, I'm on a budget, so
he spent all his money on that helmet. Have you seen that helmet? It's very
neat.
It's pretty neat.
Not to mention those goggles.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for the One Trick Hero podcast. Thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Follow us if you'd like. And again, we will be here next week on Sunday.
Follow us even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like
Smash
button.
it.
Subscribe.
Smash it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell all your friends if you have any.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will be seeing you all next week. Bye-bye.